Hey everyone, well, welcome back. I decided to make this video, as you can see, it's kind of in the evening time here, which means that it's like 9:30 at nighttime or maybe 10 o'clock. We're moving in towards midsummer. And that's one of the things about living in Sweden, is that not only do we have 4 seasons, but we have this thing called midsummer, the longest day of the year. And it's just light all the time. So basically, when I moved to Sweden, one of the things was that it was really dark during the winter time. We used to live up in the northern part of Sweden, where we had about 3.5 hours for our sunlight. And then in the summertime, then it would come around as like a whole 2.5 months, it seemed like, at least, where it was just light all around the clock. You wake up, it was light. You went to sleep, it was light. Didn't matter how late at night it was. So that's one of the things that you had to get used to when moving here to Sweden. But I wanted to try to share something about this whole idea with why a multicultural congregation. So in the beginning, Jesus has ascended into heaven, and the disciples have received the Holy Spirit. And the reason I talk about this is because this Sunday is Pentecost Sunday. On a Pentecost Sunday, obviously, we're celebrating the Holy Spirit been giving out to the believers that you can read about in Acts chapter 2. And when the Holy Spirit came and they got all this power and they were out witnessing to people, they were only witnessing basically to Jewish people and to proselytes. By the time that Stephen is persecuted, Paul is standing by and he's all like, nope, yeah, we got to get rid of these people. And so what happens is that because of persecution, the church spreads from the group in Jerusalem, and from the day of Pentecost, where a couple of thousand people join the church, they're still pretty much within the original Jewish historical context, because Christianity was a sect in Judaism. It wasn't a separate thing from the very beginning. It was part of Judaism, and it basically reached out to people who were proselytes, as I said, or people who were Jews. But something happens as the church moves up north and it gets to a place called Antioch. The Bible tells us that in Antioch, there are some things that happen. One of those things is that the people who are believers started reaching out to the Greek-speaking people. So they were reaching out to the non-Jews, the Hellenistic type of people. And it's at that place in Antioch where the leadership is multicultural, where they're starting to reach out, they're starting to really live out to a greater extent the Great Commission. The Great Commission is where Jesus tells us that we should go out and make disciples, that we should baptize them and teach them all the things that he has said. And the Great Commission, which is really important for us, as well as the the greatest 2 commandments, which is to love the Lord your God with all your mind, soul, heart, and strength. The other one is to love your neighbor as yourself. So with the love of God as being the primary thing that motivates us then to love our neighbors, to love people that we meet, not just people we live next to, not just people we like or people who are like us, but to actually extend that grace to any person, anywhere. And it was in Antioch that the church was then multicultural. The church there then hears the Holy Spirit and sends out Paul and Barnabas out into the mission field. So for me, that Antioch model has really been the model for us. It's a church that's sort of linked to the community. We often think of the first community in Acts chapter 2. Oh, wow, if we could just be like that. But I'd like to extend from the Jerusalem community to the Antioch community. And for us in cross culture, for me personally, as a minority person from the States, as a person of color, as someone who is sent by God, specifically to start communities where ethnicity and education and things like that weren't the basis for that community. It's faith in Jesus Christ. It's something that God has done for each and every one of us, and that binds us together into a relationship, reflecting upon the future day that we can read about in Revelations, where it says that there's a multitude. The Apostle John looks and says, there is a multitude of people of all tribes, tongues, and nations standing before the throne and singing a new song. So for us, that became sort of the model, that modeling of a place where it's so Christ-centered that it actually really does break down the walls of division between people. And that's been one of our biggest focus. We want to create that kind of community, and we're hoping that there are people around the world who would want to sponsor that, who would want to pray for that, and be also financial partners. How has that affected my life? Well, I can say that I grew up in Oakland, California. I always tell people I grew up outside of Chinatown. I didn't live in Chinatown. I'm not Chinese or anything, but I went to Westlake Junior High School, where the majority of the students were Chinese. Most of the people in my class were Chinese. When I was in high school, my high school Christian youth group was at Chinese Bible Church. And I'm just using this as an example to say that somehow God has always had me in a multicultural kind of environment. He's always led me that. I've always had friends who were not just African-American, but all kinds. Some of my closest friends are both African-American and non-African-American. Some of my closest friends are Swedish or American. I mean, that's just how I am as a person. And so when God called me into the ministry, that's always just been the thing about me. That's what I like. I like a church that's open, a little messier than maybe most places would like it to be, where people are coming. They're at different stages in their relationship with Jesus. Some are seekers, some are committed followers of Jesus. They're at different stages in their maturity with different kinds of passions. And we live within a diversity of expressions of following Christ. There isn't just one way. There's a diversity. There's many different kinds of ways, but there's also a center. There's also a structure. And around that structure is what we're all committed to. We say often that we are a creedal community. I'm just going to touch the screen here. We often say that we are a creedal community. I don't know what's wrong with the light here. Let's see. That we are a creedal community, which means that we of course, we adhere to the ancient creeds of the church. The Apostolic Creed. We believe in God the Father Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth. We believe in Jesus Christ, his only son. And we go through that. When we baptize people, we go through the creed. We do these kind of things. Why? Because we want to create a community that's based on something other than just ethnicity or money or education or things like that. So I don't know why this is getting darker, but something's happening. Okay. Oh, well, technology, it's always something happening, But anyway, it's nighttime, so I guess I should expect this keeps getting darker and darker and darker and stuff like that. So that was that. I just wanted people to understand that. So what's driving this, what's been driving me personally, and what's been driving our community, it's what's called the Antioch Model. And it's this thing that's just based on this idea that God calls us to community, a community that's diverse, just like nature's diverse, a community that looks forward to the day when we're all standing before the throne of God. If you want to know more, please ask questions. Ask questions about what it's like to live in Sweden. What is it like to be a Christian? I mean, I came from the States and came here to Sweden, and it's very different. It's very different here than it was anywhere where I've been before. And at the same time, God speaks to us. God calls us to minister to people here. And just to give you an example, our little community, we're not a large church. Cross Culture is a very tiny community. But through those years, we've been able to minister to at least around 3,500 people. A community that's been basically around 20 people. It comes and goes. People move. They get married, jobs, and everything. But that's sort of been our story. If you'd like to know more, please write. Don't forget to click in on the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to press the little button up there, the bell, so you'll always be notified when something comes up. I'm going to be putting these up every single day. So it gives you a chance that over the long period, hopefully with God's help, I'm giving you information about who we are. And as God is talking to you, maybe you would like to become a partner. We're looking for prayer partners, people who will hold us up in prayer. We're also looking for financial partners. We want to make the transition to where I can come on staff. And in order for that to happen, we need help. We just can't do it all on our own here. Anyway, that always excites me, talking about the Antioch model, talking about missions, talking about discipleship. It's a great and wonderful thing. I'm very glad that God called me to this. I cannot imagine something else to do with my life right now than serving other people and living in community, in faith community with them. All right. Well, that's that. I hope that the Lord blesses you and keeps you. I hope that you will allow your life to be a blessing for other people, and look for opportunities to bless other people. Look for opportunities to do the thing that God is calling you to do. Find your passion. Let God reveal his passion to you. This is the day of Pentecost coming up now on Sunday. And so, spend time. Ask the Holy Spirit to just fill you and to lead you and to guide you. The Christian life is exciting. It's not boring. I know some people think that, but it's not boring. It really is exciting, and you discover so many things in the truth and the light of Christ in your life. All right. Take care, everyone. Otherwise, I'll just keep babbling on, okay? So take care. Be blessed where you're at and serve God. And if you want to be a partner with us or anything, please click in on everything. And remember, you can always go to the church's homepage, which is www.crossculture, that's one word, crossculture.se, www.crossculture.se. I'm also on Twitter and I'm on Facebook or whatever. If you want to reach out personally to me, just go ahead and do that. But ask questions. I want to do these videos based on what you guys want to know about life here in Sweden, about the ministry of the church and things like that. Okay? All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great and wonderful day, a wonderful evening, wherever you're at in the world. And I will see you tomorrow. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.